Hello and welcome to the Nordic Market News. It's Friday, May 19th, and we summarize the past week's most market-affecting news every Friday. The stock markets in the Nordics, as well as in the rest of the world, took a blow on Wednesday following the political turmoil in Washington, sending major indices down noticeably after last week's small movements. The OMXS30, the major market index in Stockholm, is so far down just over 1% for the week, following a recovery today on Friday, and also the fact that the movements downward were limited to around 1% on Wednesday, which was not very much compared to other major indices. Finland's H25 is down by about the same amount as Stockholm and has recovered 1% today. And Copenhagen's C20 index is down just 0.6% for the week and is up 0.8% today. And in Oslo, which was closed for their national holiday on Wednesday when the other stock markets were hit, the index is actually up for the week about 0.4%. And the oil companies in Norway, they were benefited by a hike in the oil price, which was also on Wednesday following increased oil inventories in the world. All right, now for some corporate news. First, the Swedish market. Fashion retailer giant H&M's chairman and major owner Stefan Persson has bought another 5 million shares in his company through his private vehicle Ramsbury. That investment was made in 3 installments on Monday to Wednesday this week, and they amounted to almost 1.1 billion Swedish kronor. Last time Stefan Persson increased his H&M holding was last week, and then he bought shares for around 1.2 billion Swedish kronor. His total holding now amounts to just under 40% of H&M, and he was the former CEO and is son to the founder of the company. And the value of his holding is around 140 billion kronor or 16 billion US dollars. That makes him the second wealthiest Swede after Ingvar Kamprad. Over the last 2 years, however, H&M's stock market value has decreased by around a third, following increased competition from, among others, the online retailers such as Zalando in Europe. Swedbank, one of Sweden's 4 large banks, got away with allowing management to invest privately in real estate and dealing privately with clients to the bank. At least the Financial Supervisory Authority has, after its investigation, decided not to impose any fines on the bank, in spite of managers, including the former CEO and chairman, having had to leave the bank in the aftermath of the publicity these transactions caused. When explaining why they did not impose any fines to Swedbank, the Financial Supervisory Authority said that neither the bank nor its customers were damaged from these transactions. However, some senior Norwegian officials have left the bank after these transactions. Billerud-Korsnäs, which is a pulp producer, has had a major breakdown at its plant in Gruvön in Värmland, which is the county where Selma Lagerlöf, the Swedish author, comes from. The financial effect is said to be major, although could not yet be quantified, and the share took a hit by some 3% in each of the 2 days following the announcement of this breakdown. The plant in Gruvön manufactures so-called flute, which is a paper quality made from birch, and it is used in, for example, fruit and vegetable packaging, and Billerud-Korsnäs claims to have a worldwide leadership in this paper niche. Precise Biometrics, which makes software for fingerprint recognition for biometric identification matters such as in smartphones and logging into smartphones, reversed a profit into a loss in its first quarter this year following decreased sales compared to last year. Behind this decrease in sales is the loss of its major customer fingerprint cards, which is the Swedish global market leader within fingerprint sensors for smartphones. The annual forecast of sales in line with last year was repeated, however, by Precise Biometrics in spite of this, and the company aims to show positive operating results. The major Nordic debt collectors Intrum Justitia and Lindorff plan to merge since about half a year, but they have had to propose remedies in order to meet EU competition requirements due to competition concerns in certain markets. The parties now agree to divesting Lindorff's businesses in Denmark, Estonia, Finland and Sweden, and Intrum Justitia's business in Norway. The public company of these two ones, which is Intrum Justitia, lost a whopping 12% of its market value following the announcement. Sensus Gatsu, they manufacture and sell speeding cameras. They were hit by a deteriorated ability to pay for products and services by its clients in the Middle East in the first quarter. Turnover decreased by more than half of the turnover last year, and the operating profit turned into a loss. The stock lost 11% both on Wednesday when the quarterly report was published and on Thursday, but they have recovered somewhat today. Sweden's largest book retailer, Akademibokhandeln, has seen yet another change of ownership. Volati, which is a publicly traded investment group, buys it from its current holders, which is, among others, the private equity company Accent Equity. And they bought it just 2 years ago from KF, which is the Swedish Union of Consumer Cooperatives. The stock price of Volati did not react significantly to this news. And now for some non-Swedish news. First, Norway. The Norwegian salmon and seafood producer Leroy Seafood became Norway's best large-cap stock this week, up some 7% after similar hikes in the average market price of salmon for export this week. It was up around 6 to 7%, this price. And the Leroy stock is up around 17% this year. So the salmon is becoming more and more expensive, which benefits Leroy. And in Finland, the company Amer Sports, which is the owner of some well-known sports brands such as Salomon, Wilson and Atomic, was the worst share to own in Finland this week as the stock price went down 3%. That stock is down 20% this year amid a soft retail landscape, and the company has yet to transform into a more digital marketplace. In Denmark, Pandora, a jeweler and a jewelry retailer, has seen the largest fluctuations this week. It was up 4% today, but still, so far this week, it's down 5%, followed by sell-offs among American shareholders, and they are worried about the continuous retail gloom in America and also in other places of the world. Investors, in their turn, are reportedly asking whether Pandora is actually having the right products on their shelves, according to what the Danish stock market analysts say to the newswires there. Those were the headlines for the past week, and we'll be back next Friday. Thank you for watching.